Hey, hello, hello, hello. What's happening? Welcome to the live stream of consciousness. It is me, Michael Zinn. I'm here alone tonight, right now, for the moment. Jesse Blaze is caught up in the excitement of Christmas and Christmas shopping and getting stuff for his kids. I think he'll have an interesting story based on his texts when he does get here. He told me he probably would be about half an hour, 45 minutes late. So originally I had lined up some videos. Hello, hello, it's the Zen Show. Yes, what's up, Tim? What's up, Ninja Kitty? What's up, Sunshine? What's up, Mindy? I just was at a seminar with Mindy on a Zoom seminar. We were having some fun. What's up, Courtney? Oh my God, look at all these people. All these people were waiting, so I couldn't wait anymore. I had to start the show, and I was actually having a conversation with Alissa, who's going to be on our show. She runs this place called the Holistic Center for Soulful Living, and she'll tell you all about it. We'll talk all about it, but to keep everybody occupied while we were waiting, I was going to play some content that was recorded there. Jesse did a night there, an acoustic night, and it was. I really need to get a haircut. Look at that. Got to shave this thing again. It was an acoustic night, and it was awesome. It was like it became like VH1 storytellers. Jesse was telling stories. He was talking about how he writes his music. He was talking about his kids. It was such an amazing experience. I became really close with Jesse after that. And it was just such a good experience. I am going to play those videos. But since Alissa told her people that she was going to be on it at 9:45, I think I'm going to save some of that for later. I'll probably play some of it now too, and play it again later because I know how much you guys all love Jesse. But I'll pick some stuff to play right now, um, and we'll take a look, and then we'll take a look at some of that center stuff. So Jesse was involved with I guess they were doing like a tribute track um, for Ace of Spades for what the heck's the name of that band? Motorhead. So I have some footage of Jesse. Let me see which one I want to play. I think it was this one. I don't know what these recordings are because again I was going to play this other stuff, but I want to save some of it. So I'm going to play this file. Let me see if I can load this up. Boom! It's a pretty big file. It may or may not play it. All right, let's check it out. I'm gonna do a little picture-in-picture action so I could.
So you start your recording because
Okay.
I'm going, and you can go anytime you want.
All right.
So he's got it playing in his headphones,
I am recording.
Do a clap. Take one clap.
Okay, cool.
but we're gonna hear his vocals, and it may not be good. So he may get upset at me because
Let's do
took him a
this.
little while to warm up, but maybe not. Jesse's amazing. I love you. We love you too. Thank you, Angela. I'm goofy. I know.
Ow!
Oops, sorry. I meant to lower the volume there a little bit. Hold on. It's a little loud. You're gonna get that.
If you like to gamble, I'll tell you I'm your man. Win some, lose some, it's all the same to me. Pleasure is to play. Makes no difference what you say. I don't share your greed. The only card I need is the ace of spades. The ace of spades. Playing for the high one, dancing with the devil, going with the flow. It's all a game to me.
I wish we could hear the music that he's hearing.
7 or 11, snake eyes watching you. Double up or quit, double stakes or split. The ace of spades, the ace of spades. You know I'm I'm born to lose, and gambling's for fools. But that's the way I like it, baby. I want to live forever.
Look how awesome he gets into it.
And don't forget the Joker.
Don't forget the Joker. Don't forget the Joker. So he was doing this. I don't know. The video came out. I know there's a video somewhere for this, but basically he was doing the vocal tracks at my house. This is my living room. He's sitting in with his microphone and his headphones.
Pushing up the ante, I know you got to see me. Read 'em and weep, the dead man's hand again.
Oh, I think we were actually also this footage was sent, and they used this in the video for his track.
See it in your eyes, take one look and die.
Let me see if I can find it.
The only thing you see, you'll know it's gonna be. It's the ace of spades, the ace of spades, the ace of spades, the ace of spades.
That's pretty loud. He's into it. Yeah. Sweet. How awesome was that? So that is some like deep Michael's in Jesse Blaze hard drive digging. I was looking for some stuff to show you guys. I have some other stuff that's kind of cool, but I don't know what's going on in these video clips. I didn't get a chance to review them. But Janet says, woohoo! So we got some good Jesse fans. We got Gabriel. Just joined the stream just after. Wow. How awesome is that? Gabriel, we are all connected. No bullshit. I love it. That is awesome. That you just made my night. Just seriously, you made my night. Jesse and I have been friends for a while. I would say I remember the first time I saw Jesse, we weren't always friends, but I saw Jesse when he was 17 in Blazed. The band was called Blazed at the time, and he was playing locally at the downtown, and he was opening for a friend's band of mine. That's when we met. That's the first time we met. And then over the years, I worked with the different Snyder brothers. First I worked with D on it's actually pretty funny. It was a Hornitos tequila video that Hornitos did a contest, and the winner got to be in this video. Let's see if I can find this. Hornitos Twisted. I'm producing and doing this all at once. So I'm Googling Hornitos Twisted Sister video. And there it is. So this is actually, I'm going to share this. Hold on a second. Let me pause this. Let me rewind it. Put the sound on. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear it. I think the last time I actually did this, it was kind of playing slow. So let me know if you guys are seeing this, if it's a good experience. If not, I'll stop it. But hold on a second, and let's take a look at this awesome video that I worked on. This was the first time I worked with a Snyder, and I was like, holy shit, I'm holding a big reflector in D. Snyder's face. Yeah, Jesse is Christmas shopping. He got caught with his folks. It's going to be an interesting story. So can you guys hear that audio? I think it's just coming through my microphone. So anyway, I'm going to stop that. So that was the first time I worked with D. Snyder and a Snyder, like working with it. working with them. And then I actually got to work with Cody Snyder. He's a filmmaker, and he was doing a music video. I was working on his set as a data guy, and then I was working with Shane. He was doing some comedy writing, and then Jesse. Over the years, I had seen him, but the first time I actually worked with him was filming that thing at the Holistic Center. That was probably 4 or 5 years ago. And then since then, when he was when he was through going through his divorce with Patty, he came to stay with me here on Long Island for a little bit. So that's how we became like really close. Um, but yeah, and I've actually worked with D a few times since, most recently, uh, on his debut album. I did I was on the team that was videotaping. We were documenting the show, and then it turned out like since I was there, they needed graphics for the screens in the back, and I ended up doing the screens in the back. Oh my god, it was so cool to do that. It was just like such an amazing opportunity to see D. Snyder in concert with my graphics behind him. Um, so yeah, that's that. Um, I see some things going on here in the text. So yeah, Ange, you've told me that story how you used to run D's MySpace page, and that's how you and Jesse became close. It's really cool. I love this family. I love that Jesse brought all these people to the show, and everybody is loyal and comes and checks us out, and it's really awesome. So Gabriel is starting principal photography next week. Awesome. Can you tell? Did you tell us what movie you're working in, or can you? Is it an NDA, or what's going on with that? I don't know. Yes, Courtney says, "Man, this is so rad. We live in a small world. We are totally all connected. That's what the show is about, isn't it? All the time we talk about that stuff. I mean, that's what the freaking live stream of consciousness is about. So, Megan Elizabeth, hi boys. What's up, Megan? I don't think I've seen you here before, but welcome. Um, and then, sure, guys. I don't know. Are you saying sure? You can tell us what you're working on. Uh, well, anyway, I got a couple of other things to share. Let's see what else I can share. Interesting, interesting, interesting. That's the center videos. Hold on a second. Let's see what I got. Oh, so this was the Carry Me Home stuff. So he had a song called Carry Me Home, and we shot. What I did with Jesse for a while was I shot a lot of footage for him for some of his videos, and we would send it to the different people that were working with it and actually producing it. So let's see. So this one's pretty good.
Good. All right. I am ready.
So this is just footage. So we shot this at in Kings Park, at the Kings Park Bluff, one of my favorite places. Jesse had never been there. He loved it.
Oh, we got some people.
People were coming by. So Gabriel, I wrote and I'm directing my first segment called Denial.
Yeah, it's all good.
Awesome.
It's all good.
Very, very cool. I love
It's all good.
filmmaking and the whole production process. I'm jealous. I
Peter.
haven't been on set in a while. Here's some people walking by. I don't have their permission, so pretend you didn't see them, and please don't contact them and tell them that you saw them on the internet. So this is cool. I figured I could use some of this stuff to entertain you guys while you're here. Why don't you guys give me some feedback? Give me some comments to post up on the screen. Uh, did he do a video for that song? Good question, Angela. Uh, um, yes, this is actually part of the video. This was done, I believe. Jesse does a lot of work. altruistically for different foundations. So I believe this was, oh my goodness, I can't remember, diabetes possibly. I think he, the
Doesn't
Diabetes
make any sense.
Foundation did a video. Lips are sealed. I don't know what that means. Sunshine. I'm missing that one. It looks like that was the end of that clip. Let's remove that one. Uh, Gabriel, we'll work together. Duo, nice, awesome. I would love to meet you, Gabriel. You seem like a cool dude. I love that you come check out the live stream of consciousness. So that was the 5D. Oh, here's another cool clip. Let's see if I could share. This is I don't know. This one might have a bit of noise. It sounds like might have had a bit of. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to share a video file. Oh, this is weird. I'm like talking to you guys as I'm doing stuff. I didn't even realize. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah, this sounds like it might be a little loud. This is the GoPro. So I had, as I was filming Jesse with the 5D, that nice tight shot you saw, I was also filming different things. This is not the same spot. Let me lower this down way low. This is a different spot. Let's add this to the stream.
My spine has gotten
This is
out
a
of
GoPro. So this was
line.
filmed on a GoPro. You can see probably would need
My
to be color corrected.
head, it's pounding over me. Them bones, they're
Gabriel,
already
I am so
killing
sorry to hear what
me.
you're telling me. Let's all give Gabriel our love right now.
Painful, it's so damn
Sorry that
painful.
you had a bad year. It's
Oh, but
a
I
bad year for the
can't
world.
seem to make it go away.
Seems like you had your own even
It's
more
shameful,
challenges.
I almost love it. Hate it just enough to wanna change.
Tim is telling us a Jesse story, so this has turned into some Jesse stories. That's cool. I first met Jesse on Instagram. He liked my poems. Then I helped him with some stuff on the album. Late night text sessions, help each other through divorces. Oh, I remember Tim. I remember him telling me about that. Uh, then I went out and fixed his car for him. Ah, yeah, sweet, awesome. That's so funny.
It's been dusk till dawn.
So yeah, this was a lot of fun. This was
Get there
Kings Park Bluff. I'm sorry for you
alone.
guys that want to listen to Jesse and I'm talking over him, but
Please
also trying to
carry
facilitate the
me.
live stream of consciousness here.
My
So, who wants to say hello? Anybody want to
way.
say hello? I have been dying to
My
get people to come on
love
and say
has
hello.
the
If
will
you
to
are brave
breathe.
enough to come on and say hello, I will bring
And
you on. But
I've
if
lost
you want
the
to come on,
will to cry.
I'll give you the link. But you got to remember,
Them
you can't be
bones
watching the
of a
show because there's a
fading,
delay. You
so
have to just
do
be looking at
I.
whatever device you're looking at, and then
Painful,
you
it's
can come on and say
fucking
hello.
So damn painful.
painful.
So it was
Oh,
actually,
but
I don't know
I
if you could see it,
can't
but it was actually
say
starting to
good
drizzle here.
morning.
And, and you just forgot the words. And yeah, there was some rain in the shot that
I
looked pretty cool
almost
too.
love it.
So there you
Hate it
go.
just
Gabe, you're getting a
enough
hug from
to
Angela. That should be
wanna
nice.
change.
Powerful, energetic hug. She is an
My
energetic
bones love the
wonder.
pain, and so do I. Them
So
bones
I
love
also
the pain,
did
and
some
so
work
do
with
I.
Jesse. You know what? Let me see if I can find
I
this.
know I'll
Uh,
never
Jesse had
be
a great
alone. Carry me
comic book that he did that
home.
went along with
Please carry
songs.
me
And we
home.
did the Bizarro video for that. That was a lot of
How
fun.
is everything other than beef getting fucking? That's the
So the
other
scenery
table.
is beautiful. Yeah,
There's
it
a
is. There's
line
another
from us.
hug for you,
That's
Gabe.
terrible.
I love that. I love that we
Okay,
can
do we
all
want to
hug each
do
other
the other
across
thing over here,
the
or
ether.
just?
So I'm looking for the Bizarro video. Hold on.
Yeah, I feel like we should do
Or
more like close-ups of your face.
see, there's the MP3 for it, but that
Doesn't
is
even like look
not
at it.
the
Yeah, but just like a close-up shot.
video.
Okay. Like super. I have this
We
wide.
also shot the
but like a super close
the
up.
knockout video here, which was awesome.
Recognize,
I
get
don't
over
know
it,
if you guys
Jesse.
have seen
Don't
the
get into
knockout
it.
video, and
Get
they
over
actually
it.
left the living room in the video. It was like shot on like a white background, and they were supposed to cut it
Big
out, but
shot.
you could see the living room on the side.
Okay.
And for some of the shots, they liked it, and they just kind of
So I like
used it
felt like a little bit
in
like
the video.
felt like, oh, I don't want to accidentally
Let's
do
see.
the
Oh,
really
look,
strong
there's
stuff,
me.
like being a little bit more
So
disconnected.
there's me shooting him closer with
I
the.
wasn't really ready for it before, and then it was like, okay, mixed take, we gotta try again. And I
Let's
was
see
like,
if I
okay.
have the
And then I
knockout
hung back, and then
stuff
you're like,
here.
oh, there.
Knockout video. There it is. Oh, look at
Okay.
that. Yeah, that stuff is some classic Jesse. That's when the
So really, this is just your face, so you can go up and down in and out of shot.
so
But right now is
it
like
would be
right now
cool
when you're in shot.
if I had put this together beforehand so you can see the shot that I'm getting out of the 5D right now as I'm directing him. Look at the birds flying by and everything.
If you
Pretty
could put
cool.
this here, that would be much better. Okay, sure, for the camera to hear it.
Nice. You love the knockout video. Yeah, the knockout video was a lot of fun. Nice. You wanted to do a video with Carry Me Home. Yeah, it's great too. He's so fucking talented. It's ridiculous. I mean, when he stays here, we just chill and I'm like, make something up, man. Sing a song. Like, and actually, there's been times that we've been just chilling out and like talking about something. And I had this tattoo artist staying at my house, and he was telling us the story of how he grew up. And let me make this. So he was telling us how he grew up, and there was 5 kids in each room with 3 beds, and Jesse was just like, he listened to what he was saying and he made a song out of it. 3 kids in each room and 3 beds, 5 kids in each, whatever. He it was incredible to watch the process of what he was doing. Knockout was really well done. Thank you. Knockout was so cool because I should show the video, the whole knockout video, because all we did here with Jesse and I was shot shot him, and I sent that to Michael in South Africa, who edited it. So all right, so let's remove that and let's look at some of that footage since you guys have seen that video. Let's share some of that. Hopefully, it's not too embarrassing for Jesse. Hopefully, he doesn't get too upset. I don't think he will. Oop, I did not want to move that file. That's what I did by accident. Share that file. That up. Here we go. You guys having fun? Is this fun while we wait for Jesse, or am I doing all right here? I don't know what the numbers look like. Oh, you don't see the numbers. I see some numbers. That are they going up and down? You guys having fun? Give me a. Oh, I can't hear you. This isn't like a live show. I wish I could hear you. Get some feedback. All right, so let's check this.
Which? The one right on your sternum, right here.
Oh, I was asking him about his
The
tattoo.
Eye of Agamotto. It's Doctor Strange's amulet that he
Oh,
uses
cool.
for all of his magic.
I love it.
I was like, what is that? What is that tattoo in the middle of his name? And there's me. Knocking something down. So, all that's missing is popcorn and drinks. Tim's having fun. Awesome. Thank you, Tim. All that's missing is popcorn and drinks. Awesome. Doing awesome. Thank you, Ninja Kitty. This is fun. I actually went from loving being behind the camera to really kind of liking being in front of the camera and speaking. I love to communicate. So, oh, what happened there? Was that the end of the clip? No. Oh yeah, that was the end of the clip. All right, so I got to find another clip. Let's add another clip from that session. You guys need chocolate also. Ninja Kitty needs chocolate. I wish I had brought a bag of chocolate home from Chocolate Works. That would be cool. All right, so share a video file. Let's pick another one of these. One that might have a little bit more length to it. Oh, this one. You ladies are going to love me for this. This is a nice tight shot.
All right.
Sweet tarts.
Can you think you could do it with me here?
Yeah.
Alexa, play KO by Jesse Blaze. Oh, this is funny. We were using Alexa
Here's
to
KO by Jesse Blaze
play
on
this one
Amazon Music.
so he could sing to it.
Come on. Yeah. You're not a human being, you're just a piece of meat. You only cornered this lion just so he could eat. Been hungry for so long, but when I hear my song,
Oh yeah, this is the shot we did again because it was a little tight on the head and a little rack focus.
just wait till that bell rings. I need a knockout. I need a knockout. One sweat, tears all sting.
So that's a little bit of that. I don't want to show too much of that. I didn't get Jesse's permission to really show. Oh, look at this. What is this? Let's see. This is great. I don't know if this was used, but this is great. This is oh no, remove from studio. I'm going to share the B-roll clip with you guys. And the B-roll clip was just, I was like, Jesse, we need you to give us some like sexy looks, just give us some like, glares at the screen or whatever. So this is Jesse's B-roll, ladies and gentlemen, the B-roll from Knockout. Look at me for a second. Yeah, that looks great. All right, nipples there. Alexa, play KO by Jesse Blaze. Oh, maybe this is another take. I don't know.
Here's KO by Jesse Blaze on Amazon Music.
Tighter shot, much more focus. I like the focus.
Come on.
Oh yeah, this is just another take. It's a better shot. This is probably more of the stuff you saw in the video. Oh, okay, yeah, this was just B-roll stuff. There you go. Bring it, Jesse. Bring on the heat. This is true behind the scenes. This is stuff you do not see in the video. And Jesse would kill me if he knew I was playing it. No, he wouldn't kill me. But how great is this? And Alissa, I'm going to blame you because you told me not to play the footage from the health center, the holistic center. There you go, Courtney. Yeah, this was the B-roll take. Now I can. Alissa's here. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, see, this is the stuff I'm digging up. Alissa, that was funny. A little bit of a freak, that guy. I'm enjoying this too much. I don't want to stop. I want to see this whole one. Yet another 30 seconds or so. I'm not going to argue with you. Some of those moves, a little BDSM for sure. But look at that. I mean, this guy is a natural born actor. He I mean, I don't get expressions like that from my models when I need expressions. I guess he's acting out the whole knockout there. Boom. All right.
I don't know. Nonsense.
Oh, that was wonderful. Thank you guys for playing along with me. So I'm gonna remove that one from the studio. I'm going to bring on this next song. I'm going to dedicate this next clip to Tim, although it takes a little while for it to start. And this is it. I think by the time this is done playing, we should see Jesse. It's about 8. It's 9:30 here. He said about 30-45 minutes he might be at the most. So let's see. I'm going to add the video file, and I'm going to add this. This is "Go With Me," and this is the song we saw last week. He doesn't start to play it for a while, but I'm going to put this in the stream. I'm going to take a break and play this for you guys, and I will be back. All right, guys.
And I just kind of always felt like, why can't we go with you? And I do kind of plan to try to stick by that in some ways, but just as I'm just getting older, just a little bit, and my oldest is only 7, but I just go, I can't just take her out of gymnastics. I can't just take her out of this sport. I can't do that. She's got friends. She's like, there's things. And there's just so many more things that you just don't consider. So it'll be hard. I still plan to do it a little bit. But this song, is ultimately about how she goes with me, and and as I've become more spiritually aware, there's a lot of things that go with me. There's a lot of presences that I've chosen to feel, and I'm going to talk about that before we do the last song. But I wanted to say just real quick, because I've never spoken about this, but since I get to chat for a quick second, about how I sing, how I write songs, because everybody always seems kind of confused. Just guitar, keyboard. I used to really write songs kind of crappy on the piano, but I was like a mathematician. These chords work, and it's true. There are multiple options for chords to put underneath melody, and a melody is, we're not going to take it as an example. The lyrics are, we're not going to take it. No, we're not going to take it. We're not going to take it anymore. That's the lyrics. You write that down on a sheet of paper. I have no idea how to sing it. And if sometimes somebody just gives you, I don't know how it goes, that's the melody. That's what I write. So that's the da 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 da. That's the important part of any song, is the melody. So I'm the guy who provides the melody. And there's a song that I've been trying to do for Christmas for a minute, and I'll give you just like a little example that I wrote this, and I've been trying to get it done, but it just never gets done in time for Christmas. And it just goes, on the first day of December, we start our countdown till Christmas. Like all good things, it comes slowly. Anticipation gets us through this, but we don't want to wait to celebrate. We want it now, and not a second too late. Dun, 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 dun. Countdown to Christmas, a countdown to gifts, countdown to smiles on all our lips. Can't even sing it. Countdown to peace on the peace of mind. Countdown to gifts, countdown to Christmas. So that's how I'd write a song. And then I bring that to guitar players and people, and I go, help me. It's half alive. And I'll collaborate with the people, and we'll put together the rest of the song. And that's how most of these songs were written. I wrote something, and then I begged some other person to help me finish it. But that's only because I think I'm very good at writing melodies, but I don't think I'm that good at writing chords. So I'd rather work with some really strong, talented musicians, like these guys, and have them play, so that I can passionately, Janis Joplin it up, or whatever, where you can just melt in front. If you got the guitar, you're too restricted. Too many things to think about. For me, it's the words, it's the message, I want to know that you know what I'm saying. And if I'm thinking about this, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about what I'm saying. I mean what I'm saying. I mean every word of this. If anybody who knows me I'm genuine, genuine to a fault, and it's in my music. It's all me just wearing my heart on my sleeve, and I can't wait to really like tell my sob story in my next few songs I'm just putting out. But they're powerful. If you don't suffer, you can't make good art. This is kind of how it goes, you know. Don't have anything to say. Are you ready, sir? We're gonna get a fabulous accompaniment. This goes out to all 4 of my kids tonight, and even my little dog, KG. They all go with me. Go to sleep, baby girl, dreaming innocence and faith. Cause you do not have to worry, I will be there when you wake. Count on me for your life, you'll never be my sacrifice. I will be there every morning and straight on through each night. Everywhere I go, you go with me. I don't ever want you far from me. You're the most important part of me. And where I go, you go with me. Hand in hand on this road, every second of the ride, you will always be here with me. You won't be left behind. Every twist, every turn, every step you get to take, I will never miss a moment of any move you make. Everywhere I go, you go with me. I don't ever want you far from me. You're the most important part of me. And where I go, you go with me. Listen to the Father, won't listen to the Son. You're coming with me wherever I run. You go with me. You go with me. Everywhere I go, you go with me. I don't ever want you far from me. You're the most important part of me. And where I go, you go with me. Everywhere I go, you go with me. I never want you far. You're the most important part of me. And where I go, you go with me. And where I go, you go with me. Everywhere I go, you go with me.
All right.
So, I got one last song for you.
How awesome is that? Oh, Rob. Hey, Rob. What's happening? Good to see you. Rob was on guitar there. Thank you, Alissa, for stepping in there and giving us that nice credit for that evening. What a memorable night that was. Oh my God. I remember I was like, Alissa, if I knew it was going to be like this, I would have set up 3 cameras and recorded this. I'm so glad I just had my camera with me, and I recorded it, because it is truly, it was an amazing night. So that is that clip. I don't see Jesse yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'm gonna load up another clip from that night. What do you guys think? Anybody got any thoughts? And nobody raised their hand and said they wanted to come on and say hello and join the show. So I've got Rob. Since you're watching, why don't you chime in here? I've got Hurry Up, I've got Juggernaut, and I've got Rooster. Clips of those 3 songs. Or if anybody has a request. I'm imagining Juggernaut because I saw I think Angela mentioned Juggernaut earlier, and I think there is Alissa. She just popped on. Hey there, let's bring Alissa on. Hello, Alissa. I mentioned Juggernaut earlier, and I think there is Alissa. She just. Oh, you got to turn it off. Yeah, there you go. Turn off the show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. You got to turn your. Hold on a second. Yeah.
Oh, I got to turn my phone off.
Wherever yeah, there you go.
Wait, now I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Mike. Why not?
Oh, you should be able to. You've got to turn off the show.
Wait, now I can't hear you.
Where it's playing. I should have given her a little pre lesson on this.
Okay.
Where it's playing. And then she can turn on her microphone. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Well, yeah.
Well, people are welcoming you, even though you can't hear us. Can you hear me now? Are you on your computer or are you on your phone? Let's see if I can chat to Alissa. So, Alyssa's got a great story. When she comes on, she's connected to both Jesse and myself. And I see that's okay, no problem. We hear you. Hold on, let me tell her in the chat. Alissa, we hear you. And then let me tell her to turn up wherever you signed in.
No.
Yeah. She's so cute. She's probably panicking inside. I'm
I can't hear you now.
That's how you can hear me. You can't hear me. You still can't hear me. Oh.
No.
I'm wondering why you can't hear us. I should turn that message off on the background there. Maybe I'll even go to this one. Hello. Hello. She's trying so hard. Look how cute she is.
I did.
You did it? You can hear us?
All the way up.
You're all the way up? Huh.
Oh, fuck.
I'm not sure. Don't curse. We could hear you. She forgets that we could hear her, so she's cursing. Why don't you sign off and sign back in? Let's tell her. Anyone got any advice for her?
You can hear me, but I can't hear you.
Right.
That's not good.
Off and sign back in. I'm giving you a message. Sign off and sign back in. So there you go. You know what? She figured it out by herself. So while we wait for Jesse some more, maybe I'll bring on that Juggernaut song so Alissa can figure it out. You know what? It's interesting. We haven't had anybody come on the show and be watching the show, but she was watching the show before she even came on. So I think that was the issue. So I'm going to go with Juggernaut, which is actually not usually acoustic. So so Courtney just finished her art piece. Yay, Courtney! Was that the one you started yesterday during Sunshine's show? So this week I did a show with Sunshine, who was one of our uh, guests. Oh, that's right, Tim. Yeah, your fiance couldn't. We couldn't hear her last week either. Um, but anyway, so Sunshine, the guest that we had on a few weeks ago, um, I just thought she needed her own show, so we did a show with Sunshine, and Courtney joined us, and she started. She said that she was in the drawing mood from the show, so she drew something. She just finished her piece, I guess. So, and also, what's pretty cool. I don't know who. It wasn't acoustic until you came along, Rob. Well, that was, you know what? It wasn't acoustic until this night came along, because that was the whole point of this night, was to be acoustic. So I think that was really put Jesse in that position, which I think he probably enjoyed that challenge of translating the songs into acoustic. He definitely enjoys a good challenge. Um, so I got a quick story just before I put this on, and I'm going to wait for Alissa also, and that is living in the moment. The thing that we've talked about, the thing that we've heard stories about, Kenzie, one of our listeners, and her inspiration from the show. Excuse me. So, wow, I saw a friend of mine doing a show. His name is Matt, and he does a show called Mind Dog. Mind Dog TV is his whole channel, and he was interviewing another friend of mine. And I haven't seen Matt in 15 years, and I haven't seen his other friend in 15 years either. But somehow I came across the show, and I started watching it, and I really enjoyed it, and I wanted to reach out to him. So I made some comments, and I said, "Oh, that's great stuff." But I joined his YouTube channel. So while I was driving to work, ping, it came up that he was live, and I put the show on, and I listened to it on my drive into work, and it was fun. It was engaging. He was talking about conspiracy theories and some stuff that's interesting to me. And so I got into the office, and I put the show on my screen on YouTube, and I was listening to it, and I saw there was a phone number. So I called into the show. I said, "Hey, I'm just going to live in the moment and call into the show." And I called in the show, and I ended up speaking to him for 20 minutes. Great conversation. And it was amazing. And it's made me realize how much I love speaking to people and engaging in conversation. So that's why talking to nobody is a little odd. I don't think I'm a radio DJ kind of guy, but I love engaging in conversation, and it's been great. So,
Again, that was something I never played with the sax before. And Alissa said you wanted some sax, and I said,
this was the
yes.
next song.
It's amazing saying yes when you mean no.
See,
It's
exactly
a
what
great
I just
feeling.
said.
Yes.
He likes a good challenge.
What I'm doing. It feels good. It's very much that, like, going off the ski ramp, leading forward. Yes, shit. I don't know what we're doing here. So I got one last song and maybe one last story if you guys want to hear it. I talked my face off, but I guess I had something to say. So thanks, Alissa, for putting this together.
But it's a great story.
When I
A little sad.
started making music, like for reals, I had a band called Blaze, and it was called Blazed. We kept changing it because nobody knew. My real name is Jesse Blaze Snyder. Just so happens now, I happen to blaze sometimes on occasion. But I was very against that for many years. I was, no, not like that, man, like fire. But eventually I've come to accept my Jesse Blaze nature. After Johnny Blaze, the Ghost Rider, named after a superhero. And these were like, my initial inspirations, for a band, and it just, made sense as a stupid kid. And my rock in my band was Crystalline, and he was with me in the band for 2 years. And this was like around when I first got my wife, so probably somewhere between like 17 and 19. And I'm working for MTV, and I'm a VJ. things are going good, you know. I'm getting exposure, people are seeing me, you know. It seems like everything's going my way and our way. And my band gets invited to do this movie.
Mike.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. There he
Okay.
is.
All
We
right,
can
so
hear
I'll hang up the
you.
Okay.
phone and text me if I need to give you another message. I'll text you. Okay.
Okay. I don't. Okay. Thanks.
Hey, Rob.
I still can't hear you, Michael.
You can't hear me? You can't hear me. Why can't you hear me? Oh, I thought you could hear me. Oh, man. Do you
I'm
have
gonna
your.
call you, Michael.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm
I'll
putting
tell
this
you
back
briefly
on.
that the
We'll watch
movie
some more of this.
ended up being like complete bull. And basically there was some guy who tried to get us there.
I'm going to talk to
because in
Alissa
his
and
mind,
talk
we
him
were
through
more powerful people
getting
than
on the
he
show.
was. And he had basically been screwed by the fact that this movie wasn't able to go anywhere and they didn't have any money. But he thought, oh, if we got this band out there, then the band can push him around. We ended up just pushing around the asshole who tricked us into coming out there. You know, this poor douche, you know, we obviously wanted to make a movie, but it just, you know, sometimes it doesn't happen. And we left, and we had a little caravan of cars, 3 cars. And me and Chris are in the front of the caravan, and I spend, I don't know, at least 16 hours or whatever with my drummer, who was my friend, and we had become very, very good friends. Let's hope I get through this without crying. We'd become very good friends, but this trip was just, you know, we just spend a lot of time with somebody, either things go well or they don't go so well. And things went so well. And like by the end of it, I said, all right, I'll try pot brownies, okay? That was very, very against my character. And that just shows how trusting of Chris I was. And, you know, we had a guitar player who I didn't think was the right guy for me. And he was like, don't worry, I'm gonna work with him. He's got the work ethic, and we're gonna do this. And this was my guy, he and him. We were gonna be famous together. We had a song called The Dream, which I later finished after, which I'm skipping ahead, but after he died. And he dropped me off, and he got in a car accident like half an hour down the road. And only tree for miles in either direction. There it is. And if you go down 27 far enough and start getting into the Hamptons area, you'll see this one tree. That's the tree that got Chris. And I didn't know, you know, that he died immediately. So I just kind of like got woken up to this terribleness, and I had to drive to the hospital, and my wife was with me, and sorry, it's hard to talk about. Still feeling. I've cried about it a decent amount over these years, but when it's something like that, it just like sticks in you. And we had to pull over, you know, cry our heads off. And then we went and we met with his family and his friends, and he had so many friends, you know. The good die young, you know, because they have to teach us. They have to teach us something. And I wasn't ready to learn anything really at that moment. But he was gone. And then I had to carry on like without him. And I made a plan with my friend that we were going to be together. We were going to... He had a very serious girlfriend, and I was 2 days away from asking my wife to be my wife. And, you know, we were going to keep each other honest on the road. We were going to be, you know, friends, you know, we'll be married, you'll be married, you know. It won't be like a bunch of single guys and you by yourself, you'll be with me. You know, we're going to do this, and, you know, nothing's going to stop us. You know, and all of that bravado, you know, that you have when you want to make rock and roll and, you know, do something important or good. And I didn't know exactly how to do it without him. It just felt wrong. Felt wrong to move on. Him by my side. Said I was going to do it with you. Yeah. I was a little mad. No, like, we were supposed to do this together. And now you're not here. It really fucked me up for a long time. And, I wrote this song for him called The Dream, and we had already started writing it. But I never liked it. I never liked it. Because, how can some words do justice to a person? I think he was a great person. I appreciated him more as time went on. Things about him that scared me. Like, I remember one time I saw him get into a fight with this guy on the beach. And I was really uncomfortable by the whole thing that went on. And not that I'm afraid of a fight, but basically this guy kind of disrespected him. And it was kind of borderline for me for whether or not I would have defended myself. But this guy was really not cool to him. And he went, I'm not going to take that. And he pushed the guy. And he went, you disrespect me. And they got into a little scuffle. And he didn't really win. And he kind of got beat up a little bit. He got up, he dusted himself off, and was like, come on, let's get out of here. We got out of here. And I was like a little embarrassed for him and stuff. But that was all on me, and Chris was strong enough to say, no, I don't like how you're treating me. And don't you try to push me around. And he was really forthright. He wanted to be great at music. He was taking drum lessons from one of the best drum teachers out here, Bobby Rondinelli, and he inspired me, but Bobby's really good. Bobby's a really great drummer, Blue Oyster Cult. He's a great drummer. And, a lot of times the players, the music they play doesn't really do justice to how good they are. And Bobby's a great player. And Chris was just like, I'm just gonna learn and learn and learn and get better. And he was a craftsman. He made cabinets. His parents owned this super high-end cabinetry and woodworkings, and they made stuff for just the highest end anything. And I remember coming in one night really, really late, and he just had all these beautiful cabinets, hand-carved, like you would imagine would be in some Norwegian gift shop or something. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And I was like, you did this? He's only a little older than me, 18-year-old kid. This is what we lost. Somebody who could make beautiful music. And he was very loyal. It was loyal to me. I still play this song, Juggernaut, because this is one of the songs that I wrote with Chris when he was around, and it was me writing a song, trying to get somebody to play it back to me, and we went through a lot of guitar players, and but I close every show with this song. It was never meant to be played like this. It was meant to be played really crazy, aggressively, but I play it for Chris now, and I used to play The Dream, but I've moved on from that one, and I got to tell you that the spiritual journey that I've been on, and this is really why I want to say this to you. I lost my friend, and I lost myself for a while, and then when I slowly got it back, I heard voices in my head. And I was told by that aura reader, beyond that, my whole aura had changed. I went back to her years later when my parents thought I was crazy and I thought I was enlightened. And she told me, and I was right, that my aura was different and I was bright and my energy was there and all these other things. But she told me that I had these white lights on the side of me and that they were protecting me. And it was just kind of a nice thing to believe. So at the time I was just kind of like, okay, sounds good. I got white lights, very nice. But then I had babies. And I had 4 babies. And my 3rd baby was smiling at me, but not at me, above my head, before babies do anything. Before she smiled at anybody, she was smiling above my head. And I just slowly allowed myself to believe that a little bit. And somewhere along the way, somebody told me that my grandma was one of my gods. She was protecting me. And I kind of would meditate and I would talk to her. And then one day I kind of noticed, while I was meditating, and it was weird. I didn't see anything, but I felt something. I felt that Chris was there. he was there, but he wasn't paying attention to me. And at the time, I just been kind of opening up and letting the universe use me or something. And I was writing some amazing songs. And I was feeling guilty about it. I was feeling guilty that I was writing songs. And they were the songs, they were songs that were going to make me famous. And I was going to do it without Chris. And I said to him, I wish you were here with me. And nothing's ever happened so fast. I just felt him right on top of me. And he just went, I am making music with you. And I swear nothing has ever felt more true than that. Like one moment, and I lost it at the time. Because I got really good, too good. And it wasn't like I was like studying how to write songs. I just kept getting better at writing songs. And now it's really hard for me to take credit for this. It just feels weird and stupid. It feels stupid to say that. Young Jesse in the back row, I know, I'm an idiot. Feels right though. So, I don't sing The Dream anymore. But, because we keep living the dream after he dies, and that was the line, we live the dream after we die. And so this continues on. This is Juggernaut. It's going to be the last one for tonight. Thank you guys for letting me share some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you all the people who are on Facebook and watching. I know I have a lot of people out there. I'm sorry that I disappeared off of social media. You guys don't know. I get a lot of messages. I have lots of people who I talk to. I try to talk to everybody. It can just kind of like bog you down a little bit to always have to be like answering somebody. So I'm sorry, I took a little break. I'll be back eventually. I'm going to re-record this soon, and I'm going to do it something a little bit more like this. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you ain't getting out without messing your face. Stick around for a while, have a nice taste. If you like it, you're in the right place. Now push yourself to the limit, then push it back again. Give it all you can give it, that's how you win it, my friend. Take every inch, don't give an inch you take. Earn every scar you win, love every back you break. You can't slow me down, I'm unstoppable. You can't cover me up, I'm untoppable. You can't figure me out of everything I'm not. Go out of my way, I'm a juggernaut. Yes, it's an uphill battle, no you might not win. And if you get knocked down, you must begin again. So pull the wool off your eyes, close your mouth, cover your cry. They'll be so goddamn surprised when you're still breathing alright. You're stuck between a living and a dying. And if I said it wasn't tough, I'd be lying. You came so far, fought so long, you're still surviving. You're gonna rock 'em or die trying. You can't slow me down, I'm unstoppable. You can't cover me up, I'm untoppable. You can't figure me out of everything I'm not. Go out of my way, I'm a juggernaut. This is my mantra, see if you remember it. Don't want you how it really is, no need to true reality. Because the truth shall be whatever I decide the truth shall be. I got my mind over my matter, it's easy to deceive. Cause it's not what's true, it's what we believe. You can't slow me down, I'm unstoppable. You can't cover me up, I'm untoppable. You can't figure me out of everything I'm not. Out of my way, I'm a juggernaut. Stay out of my way, stay out of my, stay out of my way, stay out of my, stay out of my way, stay out of my, stay out of my way, stay out of my, just stay out of my way. not?
Yeah.
You were right at the end. Yeah, no, sorry. I told you, I'm emotionally compromised.
Yeah.
Alissa did this to me. I'm not supposed to sing the songs and talk about what they mean to me, because they actually mean shit to me.
Hey! Oh, you're muted, Michael.
Hey!
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
I didn't mean to be muted. I'm sorry.
All good. The Christmas season has gotten the better of me today, but I'm very happy to be here on the live stream of consciousness.
And we are happy you are here as
and
well.
I'm sure Michael has already said this, but you just witnessed the budding of mine and Michael's relationship, and sort of the culmination of me and Alyssa's influence on me. And after a few years of growing spiritually, I went on to, I went to her Soulful Healing Center, and I put on that performance. And it was a very emotional thing for me to hear those things. I don't think I've actually spoken at such length about any of those things that I spoke about that night.
Yeah, I was saying how
here
happy I
on
was
the
that I got
show.
to document it, like
Yeah, it's very cool. Certain things that I was hearing myself say, I just sort of like clicked for me. I'm like, oh wow, I really went into, deep length at, for me, when talking about these crazy subjects, speaking to spirits and stuff like that. It just, I'm still an atheist at heart, and I really need a logical explanation for this stuff in order for me to take the steps forward. And to say I'm hearing voices, it's just sort of, it's absurd. But being the logical kind of guy that I am, I really did take a long road to get to that place. What did Rob say here? Hope you all enjoyed that. It was a blast doing that. Oh, absolutely. Rob, thank you very much. Thanks for listening. Yeah, no, it was really cool to do that. And it was amazing to me when I sat down to think about what I was going to do for the show. And I realized how much spiritual messaging there was in every one of the songs that I had written and I was performing. And I mean, really, it's just like nothing was missing a bit of like deep spirituality for me, and it was very, very easy for me
it
to
was
talk about.
ridiculous.
So
The night was amazing. It was such a. Alyssa and I were talking about it before. Like she didn't even know what it was going to be, and it turned into like literally, if I had the right camera equipment there and we filmed that, it could have been on Netflix. It was that powerful and good.
oh, thank you. I so
Really good.
appreciate it, and that makes me very happy to hear that.
Oh,
And I mean, I honestly, I had a lot of trepidation about talking about that stuff when because I had never really spoken about any of those things before. I mean, now it's funny. Look at me now. I'm constantly talking about sort
You
of
did
these
such a great
esoteric
job.
things.
Yeah, you did it such a. We were even talking about that, how well articulated the stories were and how engaging they were. I mean, it really was. It was phenomenal.
Well, thank you. And I honestly, I didn't know that or feel that, or, well, I mean, I guess I did a little bit, but it was when I came off of the stage and everybody who was in the audience, it was a pretty intimate audience, but a packed audience.
Yeah.
And pretty much everybody stuck around and talked to me individually, for a little while. And just hearing people having similar experiences, connecting with, lost loved ones, or, whatever it might be, seeing synchronicities and, having a lot of similar experiences to me, and appreciating, my willingness to talk about these things. Because, I think these things happen to everybody. I listen to Coast to Coast every now and then. And Coast to Coast is largely like aliens and Bigfoot and all these things. But the guy who used to host the show, they would do like an open lines thing where people would call in. And it just amazes me how many stories, like that everybody had a story. And, I think I talked about recently the Bridgewater Triangle, which was a really interesting documentary that you can still see on Amazon, because to me, it was just so mind blowing, because it was this Bridgewater Triangle is an area where there's lots of weird things happening. And it's
I watched that. Right. And you're right.
Oh,
That's
did you
what
watch
it was. And that's what it was. Everybody was like, everybody had a story that was crazy but related, and like was like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
And
Yeah.
if you combined all the Bigfoots and Yeti and Sasquatch and Hairy Man and Skunk Ape and all these things that are big, if you combine them into one Google search so that you typed in Bigfoot and everything would come up, you'd be surprised how many things came up. And then if you could also combine everything that is weird going on in this world into one Google search and type it in, you would really be surprised what's coming up. And now at a certain point, the first thing I will say to a new friend when I meet them, if I'm hanging out with them long enough and I feel like comfortable with them, I go, "So what's the strangest thing that's ever happened to you that you never tell anybody about?" And then I just wait to see like what comes out. And
That's awesome. You're gonna come across the most amazing stories. That's amazing.
Yeah,
So
no,
cool.
and it came from that sort of realization that wow, like people just like we don't share these things. We especially like we don't have the words.
It's weird,
Most
yeah.
people don't feel super articulate to like talk about some of this crazy shit and and feel like somebody's going to make fun of them and then they're going to be like tripping over their words to try to explain no it really happened. I swear these numbers were haunting me for an entire day. It was a statistical impossibility that every time I looked at the clock it was this time. Or no man, I really did see, and it was not just like some dude playing a trick on me or whatever. It was a hairy man in the woods. Or no, I saw a giant in this field. And I'm telling you, I'm not hallucinating. There are stories out there, and I have like a number of friends who passed on a story here and there that's kind of blown my mind. That I'm like, I'm so glad I asked that question because holy shit, like I never would have heard that because people just don't walk around telling these things.
So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
What's the strangest answer you ever got?
The strangest answer I ever got was my friend Jade. She is from Great Britain. And she's certainly kind of a witchy person, and she had some very, very interesting stories, which I'll share first to share the one that was really cool, about basically discovering Stonehenge-like areas with her friends, taking pictures, only to go and develop them, and they never developed, or only to go back a few minutes later and the place was gone.
Wow.
But she told me a story about this place in Britain where it's in the mountains. Basically, it's like a lookout point where the kids would go to make out, and hang out, go for cruise, go cruising in their cars, whatever, and or hang out on their her and her friend. They used to like to go and hang out on the hood of the car and look up at the stars there because it's like this big open clearing overlooking this big what do you call it? Just an open piece of sky and some mountains that are there.
Right.
Well, there's this classic story about this church that was being built in the mountains there, and you can see what is left of the construction that they tried to do building this church into this mountain. But famously, there was all of these earthquakes that was preventing the construction of this church, and eventually, after a number of earthquakes kept cracking the foundations that they were laying, it was abandoned, and now there's just like a couple pieces left of this church thing. So within the mountain there is a sort of measurable bit of construction that you can tell even from far away how tall or high something is, because there are markers for this church that they were building. Well, her and her friend were out laying, looking at the stars one night, whatever, checking out, and they heard what sounded like really kind of booming footsteps. And they looked down into the ravine, and it was a bright moon night, and they saw a giant walk through the pass in between the mountains and disappear into the mountain. And they said it was at least like 30 feet tall, and based on what they were looking at in the thing. And it's interesting, she was the only person that I'd ever heard that until I started investigating a really cool military channel. And there is a famous story that you can go and investigate, and there are multiple different people who have spoken on this. One of the people who was involved in the battle with a giant in Afghanistan, when we first went there, he basically they went looking for a troop of soldiers who disappeared, and they found a cave with a giant man. Now, this man was not as big as the lady, as my friend told me, the one that she saw, but he was a big dude.
So
And
in
I
between
mean, like
regular
big,
and
like
giant,
not
like
7 feet tall, like 10 to 15 feet, really, really big.
right.
And there were multiple military guys who came forward and told their stories, and these stories have been strung together of basically them killing this giant being and then shipping his body back to America. And one of the people who collected the body to bring it back, he has his story. One of the people who was in the platoon that shot up the person has his story, and there was somebody in the middle who also had given some details, and there was 3 different people who had shared the bit. But it was very, very interesting
all correlated.
to see that, and it was very, to me, one of the more credible kind of stories that I'd ever heard, especially because it was corroborated by 3 different people who had a number of similarities to everything that they said. But it's very interesting. I mean, the Bible is filled with stories of giants, and there are many stories.
I've heard that stuff, and I lost you, but you probably still see me. And I actually just recently saw, like, on Reddit, some actual video clips, like, taken in the Mayan, Aztec, and it was in the distance. You saw some people on a hill, and then he stands up. Oh, Jesse disappeared, but this guy stands up, and it turns out he's like a giant. And I had never really even seen videos like that, so it's interesting that you are bringing that up, Jesse. So Jesse disappeared. He was texting me earlier that he was in a place with some bad reception. However, I have a wonderful replacement, and hopefully she can hear me and I can hear her. What's up? Can you hear me?
I can. Hey, how are you doing?
Awesome. Excellent.
What's up?
Welcome.
Finally.
Welcome.
I'm on my phone, but we worked it out.
That's great. You look great, and the lighting's
Thank
good, and
you.
the sound is good.
Thank you.
And and welcome to the live stream of consciousness. It's
Thank you so much.
amazing to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here. So cool.
Jesse will pop on, I'm sure, when he comes on, but let me introduce you, and let you tell your story. Hey,
Okay.
finally, Alissa. I was going to tell Jesse, I was like, listen, man, you came here late. We got to bring our guests on. We can't, like, stretch this out. But Alissa, actually, so you guys know from what Jesse was saying that Alissa, and he's back, Alissa is a partner at the Holistic Center, and was friends with Jesse, and said, hey, why don't you come do a acoustic night? And it turned into this amazing experience. I'm going to remove him until I see him come on full force. It turned into this amazing experience, like VH1 storytellers. It was just so phenomenal. You saw Jesse getting emotional there, and it was just great. And I've known Alissa, and I've been to the center, which is just like, I can remember the first day I walked in there, how at home I felt. It was just like the music and the oils, the smell in the air, and the whole vibe was amazing. Tell us, what is the Holistic Center for Soulful Living?
Thank you. The Holistic Center is my dream come true. It's an integrative wellness center located on Long Island, Smithtown, Long Island, New York. It is co-founded by myself and my 2 amazing partners, Rob Koenig. Give him a shout out, Rob Koenig, again, and Rosemary Marcaccio. Hi, Angela. Thank you so much. It is a culmination of our I say our collective dreams. We all dreamed of a place to build community around anything soulful, anything mindful, soulful, spiritual, heart, soul, connection. We work with a lot of different modalities. We have psychotherapists, hypnotherapists, meditation teachers, energy healers. Rob's a reconnective healer, acupuncture, massage. But our main gig is really to help people find the divinity within, to help them find whatever ways they feel blocked, to really be their truest self, the most authentic self. And we love our work. We're so joyful. We're so happy. It's a blessing to be there each and every day. Thank you for asking. And Mike, we've been happy to have you on board for a number of years, doing
Yeah.
covering many cool events. In fact,
Totally.
it was 2 years ago. I think it was yesterday that Marianne Williamson was there. It's 2 years ago already.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that
Oh my
was super
God.
amazing.
Holy moly. And I really didn't know. I'm not a political guy at all. I had no idea like who she was or what was going on. And just learning about who she was so amazingly refreshing. And then meeting her and being able to, that was amazing.
It was such an honor, and it was such a cool thing that you covered that. So it was an honor to have you there.
Totally. And I gotta say, the way that you just described it and how happy you are to be doing the work is it's palpable when you go there. I think that's what I felt when I walked in. I said I felt like I was home. It's like there's so much freaking love in that place.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we love it. I think that is I think that's important. You know, you have to love what you do, of course. I mean, the ultimate goal is really to love what you do, and there is a lot of joy. It's true. It's very rewarding. Hey, Jess. What are you? What's in your background now?
He's
happening?
I don't know. He's too loud. I muted him. Muted you.
He's on mute.
I just muted
my
him,
microphone was off. Here we go.
Yeah, because
can you hear me now?
Because it was so loud. Yeah, it was really loud.
Hey, Jess. What's up?
Yeah, he's driving.
Can you hear me now?
He should not. He should not be streaming. I'm going to remove him. And
so I mean, can I just share that you know, I've known Jesse a long time, and like he was saying, so from my perspective, it was such an honor to have him, and it was so fun to really, honestly, I saw in him this soulful side, this self that he didn't see in himself, and it was really it's very cool and exciting to help him learn. I didn't say I did it, but that it was cool that I kind of planted some seeds, and it did help him uncover this part of himself in a big way.
Totally.
So it's been cool to watch him over the years and expand and evolve.
Totally. Let's tell him to stop driving. Hey, buddy.
Hey, bud.
Hey, how's it going? Can you guys hear me?
We do hear you, but we don't want you driving and streaming at the same time.
Be careful.
Yeah, no, I'm pulling over again. I was in like I thought maybe a bad location, so I was trying to move to a better one. But the StreamYard seems to be not doing good, so it'll get quieter in just a second.
Okay, cool.
How is it going, Alissa? Thank you so much for coming and joining us on the show.
It's going okay. I'm so happy to see you sort of there.
Yes, I'm so happy to see you as well. This is really very, very cool.
Yeah.
You know, I know Alissa was saying some of this, and it's absolutely true. You know, like I was such a, I should say it like this. I just watched my family's celebrity ghost story episode that they did years ago now, and at the time when these stories were happening with my family connecting to my my now deceased Uncle Vinny, I was an anti-magic cloud. I did not experience any of these stories with them, you know, and I just kind of laughed all of these things off. And while I'm generally a pretty polite person, you know, when I would meet somebody like Alissa, there was a pretty strong urge in me to be like, that's all nonsense. You know, and I generally did not say that and share those things, but all of a sudden, as I began to realize that all of these strange happenings in my life and all of these experiences I was having weren't all nonsense, I only had one person to call and to, you know, to get some advice from. And it was Alissa, you know, my crazy hippie downstairs roommate.
That is a truth.
But you helped me so much along the way as I was looking to get, you know, I mean, there's so many names of people and, you know, types of alternative medicine and things that you turned me on to over the years as I started to open myself up to the fact that there was a lot more going on in this world.
That's the truth. I remember the first time you're like, Alissa, I got my aura read. Gotta check this out. You gotta check out this aura. Get some sheet you got like some piece of paper or something. You got my aura read.
Oh, the photo that he always talks about. Yeah.
That was like
my very first experience. Yeah. And I my mind was blown.
It's a great story too. Seriously? because it was like almost like Jesse, you tell the story and you appreciated it at the moment, but then over the years it unfolded, and you're like, oh, that's what that means as far as what the colors were, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
all
if
made sense.
Alissa, if you didn't hear the final story, I don't know if I told it at the that day at the concert, but I didn't realize that I was depressed. I didn't realize that I had been dealing with anxiety. I didn't realize that I couldn't really admit, I should say, to depression. And when I wrote this song, and the whole idea was, I saw that there was something about the Hulk that I appreciated when I went to write him. And it was that all of these other superheroes were shiny, like they had reason to smile for the things that they could do. And the Hulk wasn't like that. It wasn't like he put on his Hulk suit and then he was like, hey, look at me, I'm really strong. He put on his Hulk suit and it was like, holy shit, brace for impact. We might bring down the building.
Right.
And that I really connected to that feeling of like, everybody around me seems like they have some amount of inner peace, and I don't feel that way.
Right.
And so I used him as this metaphor to write this song Green. And all of a sudden, like within like 6 months of writing it, I'm realizing that one, it's the most personal thing I've ever written, because I've never allowed myself to say, like I say something in there like, am I a hero or a villain? And this idea of like me, oh, thank you, of myself being a bad guy, like that is like what you fear, what if you care, if you really care, you have like these, blood curdling fear come over you when something goes wrong and you feel like, well, I was aiming for good and I got this instead. What does that mean?
Right.
Am I blind and I'm swinging in the dark and maybe I'm worse than I imagine I am, and that song like clued me in all of a sudden to my depression and the way that I really felt, in my heart. And then I realized, oh shit, the aura was green, and then it came full circle.
Part.
I'm like, oh my God, the aura was green. This is, but I was so spooked by it. I just felt really dumb. And it's so funny. I think what we will not wish away, but we will like explain things away when we don't have a good basis to back it up. And we're like, oh no, I didn't just leave my body and I wasn't just floating on the ceiling while I was watching TV. That didn't happen. That's not something that happens. And then all of a sudden you're reading a book years later about how that's happened to some monk. And you're like, wait, that happened to me. and you wonder how it is that you went this long without ever thinking about that a second time. Or going, hey, that was strange the day that happened,
Yeah.
But this is what people do.
This is what people do. We're in our heads. We're not enough. We try to intellectualize and analyze, and we stay in our head a lot. And we know it's hard for us to stay in our bodies and stay with this, the unknown, because it's scary. It's freaky, it's scary. It can be. It's not freaky, but it can be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, certainly when something happens that you have no point of reference for.
Yeah.
I think that is really scary.
Yeah.
And you know what? Honestly, I think for people like me, who are like sort of the anti-magic clouds, we're holding on to the rafters. We are like, I'm going to learn this thing so I don't have to be afraid, and I can go out into the world and I know exactly what's what, and I'm going to use my knowledge of what's what to build a better, mousetrap.
Right.
And when something comes along that invalidates what the foundations we've been taught, I think it really does it's like, whoa, no. I know things. I know how it works. That's not how it works. It works like this. So, I do think it can be really scary for people like me who just, we've solidified the cage. We've turned it to hard stone, to start knocking down those walls or bending them into different shapes and go, maybe it's a little bit more like this. It's a very difficult thing for us to do. But, I really I'm so excited actually to hear the story of Alissa. We've, I've known you for so long, and I know I've maybe gotten little pieces here or there, but I've never really heard, the whole journey that you've taken. But before we get into that, we got to ask you the question that we always ask everybody, because we get such unique answers from everyone, which is, what is your definition of consciousness, or what is consciousness to you?
Ooh, good question. That's a good question. That's a good question. Actually, it's funny. At this point in my life, I want to say that the answer is freedom. The freedom to live life freely, and to really connect, being present in the moment without expectation or attachments or understanding of what's going to happen tomorrow or even 10 minutes from now. Freedom is my definition of consciousness. Yeah, does that make sense to you guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think my
Freedom.
work, I think our work, all of our work, you know, so I'm going to have my therapist cap on for a sec, that the work is really to learn all of the ways where we block ourselves from that, from living really freely in the present moment. So yeah, that's my
That's
definition.
really beautiful,
That's
Alyssa.
great. I love
and
it.
like, and I wonder if that's a little metaphorical for the audience, but I understand what you mean completely. And you know, if I can go back to our universal laws class for a moment, you know, for all of you guys watching at home, if you are one, and everything, you are everything, everything is you. We're all living in this giant mind, and you are all of the things, you know, like, well, what amazing freedom there is in that, in knowing that you are everything and everything is you. And, you know, and everything is sort of balancing itself out through, you know, through this conscious or unconscious sometimes interaction of things, but through developing your consciousness, it is sort of freedom to feel safe, and to, you know, to feel more love, and to feel more connection, and all the things that sort of lead us to feeling confined, whether it's by our own minds or in our own hearts. You know, they're sort of the anti-consciousness, you know, the unconsciousness that gives you the illusion that you aren't safe and that things aren't all right. But it's in understanding, you know, how things really are, and, you know, coming into your full realization, your full consciousness, it really frees you. So I mean, I really love that definition, because it boils so many things, it distills so many things down to a little drop of water of, like, you know, sort of like, why is it important to be conscious? Because freedom. You know, because that's the path to freedom. It's really, it's beautiful.
Thank you so much. I mean, I also sort of AKA say that's the meaning of life. But same thing to me, kind of the same, one and the same. But thank you for asking. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's the big thing on the show.
So I love that question. That's a good question. Hence the name, live stream of consciousness. That works.
Exactly.
Totally works for you guys.
Exactly. And I think
it's such
you had something to say, Michael?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I think what's underlying that is, when you're saying freedom, and just to, I guess, tell me if I'm right or wrong, it's almost like the freedom to not have to control or understand everything. Be okay with that.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of what I got from that. That's because you say freedom and everyone's like, oh, free, you know, I'm free to do this, free to do that. But it's like, it's more than that. It's like free to be okay with everything.
No, I love that you say that. I should say, inner freedom. Inner freedom. It is a state of mind, a state of being, to be free within. That's a good clarification. It's like, oh, free, great. We can have you know. Actually, in these
yet another level to it.
I'm sorry, Jess, what'd you say?
I said that's yet another level to it. You know, that's really incredible. You know, how did you just put it, Michael? Because it made me think of another. What did you say?
I was saying the freedom to not have to have control or even understand what it is, and be okay.
Yeah, my wonderful, sweet girlfriend is always very quick to point out, you know, how we, you know, there's no appreciation for what you have and what is, you know, until the bad things make the good things, you know, and it's this, you know, the up and down, the conscious sort of understanding of all things that puts it all into perspective and all into balance. And, you know, that makes me think of that, you know, as well, of like that, you know, freedom to know that the unknown is okay, that the unknown is only bringing you to the new place. And if if there's something bad, it's not really bad per se. It's just the thing that's helping bring you into a proper equilibrium of perspective,
Exactly.
and that's that consciousness and freedom to sort of feel safe in whatever the world, whatever life is bringing you at any given moment.
Yeah,
Right.
especially now, especially these days. Oops, I
Perfect.
lost you guys. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
You blacked out. We still see you.
Yep. Hang on a second. Hang
Yeah.
on. I'm on my phone.
Or we still hear you.
Yeah, she went out of the browser. She'll have to come back in. But I love that definition. That's definitely adds to what we've already kind of laid down there, which is very cool.
Yeah, no, and yet again, another totally unique answer to what is consciousness. So Alissa, we tell everybody we want the long version of how you went from being an unconscious person, walking around in the world, and became a conscious unconscious person. Trying to become, unconscious conscious.
All right. Well, I'll try to keep it short. I'll try to keep the long version.
No, don't keep it short. Give us the version that the audience needs to hear, because as we say, there's so many different ways to walk down this road and to begin the journey of consciousness, and it's different for everybody. Okay. And and I really believe that it's collecting together all of these different stories that actually teaches us, all the ways that it can happen, and gets us closer to sort of understanding our own personal journey.
I love it.
So, please, take your time.
All right. Thank you so much. So, I was, you're going to laugh. So I was 6 years old, but it's the truth. Actually, I wasn't 6, I was 7. But I was diagnosed at 7 years old with a rare chronic illness. I was very ill as a child. I was diagnosed, it's with a disease called Gaucher's disease, which is a blood disorder that affects the liver and the bones and the spleen. And so as a kid, I was sick, and my parents were told that I most likely wouldn't live a full life. Wow. So that was always in my it was in my consciousness somewhere. I mean, I was a little kid, but I definitely was like tucked away back there. And I know, so my family kind of walked on eggshells a lot of the time with me. They were just always, there's like a worry around this for years. Fast forward to 17 years old, I was really the sickest I'd been. I ended up in the hospital after a bout of we'll say it was not to go into details, but I was sick. I was in the hospital, 17, and they had to take my spleen out. The normal size of a spleen is the size of a fist. Mine was like 15 pounds. It's like really big.
Oh, wow.
And it's a manifestation of the condition. My parents were told there was no cure, and that, again, I wouldn't necessarily live a full life. So at 17, I remember laying in the hospital bed. It was an emergency surgery. I mean, they were doing it the next morning, but I was really quite frightened. And if I look back now, only now do I realize, years later, just like you're saying, like you look back on things, and it really that was my moment of awakening. I remember thinking, I could die, and I'm 17 years old. Like, oh my God, this is kind of crazy. So I found myself praying about it, somehow surrendering and praying. I did wake up, thank God, and I took a while to recover, about a year or so. I had some homeschooling and all that, but fast forward, actually I do want to say that during that time period, I definitely began to just sense I never really felt like I fit in. And I never felt like I could be understood. I feel like kids around me were kind of playing and not worrying about the things I was worrying about. I was worrying about like life or death, like literally, am I going to leave? Am I going to live? And all that. So from early on, that was always just, there for me. I did fast forward. I did end up going to college. I stayed local because of concerns about my health. My family was like a little bit overprotective about that. But so I ended up going to a local college, but I did live on campus. So that was cool. I went to school. I chose a degree in health administration to kind of help people on the way. And when I was in grad school, I went on to grad school. I began to get some new symptoms developed, like weirdo things. I ended up in the hospital where I wasn't able to walk. I had like a paralysis for a couple of days, and they weren't really sure the why. And with a bunch of tests and, much more poking and prodding, they diagnosed me with having MS. So on top of the Gaucher's disease, I was 29 years old and diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, which, if you know about anything about multiple sclerosis, you can certainly, that's also a condition where you can be robbed of your physical health. And
really, we are on the Rams network, which is Rock Against MS. And Nancy has MS, who is our matriarch of the show and the network. And she has been fighting for her life for a number of years now. With dealing with MS, and and I think a lot of that is what's drawn her to her own spiritual journey, and she enjoys supporting the show because she appreciates that there might be other avenues of exploration for her own health. So what did you do when you got that diagnosis?
So I had that diagnosis, and I have to tell you, that is when I really had a breakdown. I mean, I was, again, 29, and I just was like, how am I going to function? What am I going to do? What is my life going to look like? I really was pretty devastated. And I started having, I just want to say this actually. So just fast forward a little bit. I went through 5 years, and I went to two other neurologists, and they watched that the progressions could have stayed the same. So I had a neurologist actually undiagnose me with MS. So I actually don't have MS. This is part of my story. Hang on, I'm losing my charge, of course. It's been a night of technologically challenging times. Oh God. Hang on a minute, guys. Charge the phone. So long and short, try to keep it again a little short. So okay. So with the MS diagnosis, they wanted to put me on a medication called Avonex, which is an injection in my muscle of my body. And so I'm on a treatment for Gaucher's, and then I'm on this injection for the MS. And I'm like, I don't know. I would go to sleep at night. I was living on my own at the time. Began to really just say I have to find my independence, and I would have night terrors. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I would be terrified. I'd call my family, I was close to my folks, and I would have panic attacks, like full-blown anxiety attacks. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced panic attacks, but they are not any fun.
When I was I used to have them at night when I was sleeping as well. Like I would wake up when I was young for a while. I never told my parents about them because but I just this terror, just in total terror, awake, but in a weird sort of state of just panic.
Total, like a gloom and doom, awful, like you can't breathe. Yeah, and I'm like a mama's girl at the time. I was like, oh my God, I just need some help. It's very young, as early 20s, and so at the time I was put on some medication, and I was really, I needed something. I was really very desperate between depression and anxiety, like I mentioned before, Jess. I really understand depression and all of that. And then I began, a friend of mine actually sent me an article, and I mean, no disrespect to the woman who's got MS, so please hear that. I've done started doing a lot of research around foods I consume, and, things that really could mimic some of the symptoms of MS for me. One of the things I remember drinking a lot of, and there's so many articles on, is like diet soda and aspartame. Anything with aspartame really can mimic MS symptoms. So I began to play around with some research. So I started looking at the physiological part of my condition. So that began this holistic journey. So that piece around connecting, my body, there's ways I can fix what's going on some level, the physiologically symptoms. Yeah. And then just further along my journey and trying to address the anxiety, I met with this woman. She's so interesting. She's still, I know her pretty well. I've been, known her for many, many years. She was the person introduced to me breathing, just learning to breathe, just learning to be with your breath, and to kind of focus on just when you're feeling the anxiety, to connect to where it is in your body, learning to breathe into that spot, and kind of just working that way. And then slowly I began to do more research around the body and the mind connection. So it's like little by little built upon each other. And it was all really the start was my physical, quote unquote ailments. But even more so my mental struggle. Like it was really just like, what's the point of all this? Why am I here? I have these two very serious things and I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life. What's it gonna look like? And, I had all these, like all of us have hopes and dreams about that. So I began to just be with like, what's it all about? What's this all about?
That's interesting that you should say that because, when I would have those sort of, those nightly, it was a while, those terror, but terror. Very awake and conscious. It all had to do with that ultimately, sort of like oblivion. Like a question that used to repeat in my mind was, if God invented everything, then who invented God?
Right.
And why is there anything?
Right.
And shouldn't there just be nothing? And and if I don't accomplish something soon, this might all be gone.
Right.
And then it would literally be for nothing.
Right.
And like these, these thoughts, especially as an atheist, like, they used to, it would just terrify me. Just complete terror that everything that I was and all I stood for would be gone in a blink of an eye. And they used to very much be the driver behind so much of it.
Wow.
So much of it. Yeah. That's really it. So it's funny. It's funny of all things, but I ended up finding a poem that really spoke to me. And it was actually funny. It was like a bed and bath, but it happened to be in a beautiful poem called The Soulful Life. Can you hang on 1 second? I can read it to you guys. Would you mind?
Sure.
It's like this inspiration that'd be for the name of the center. Hang on 1 second.
Cool.
Let me just grab it.
So I had an amazing vision, the other day of, it was a deep meditation, and I got shown this image, and it was a really simple image from my guides or whatever, and the image was on one side what I know, and then it was the less than, more than some, and a less than was facing what I know, and on the more than was all there is to know. Here's all there is to know, which is more than what I know.
Right.
And, and I had this song that came into my mind, and it just went, all I know is I don't know much, not that much at all. All I know is I don't know much, pride before the fall.
I love it.
And I really, really believe, so much of this, these things can be boiled down to, having this sort of like concrete, the more we firm up our concrete understanding and knowing of the universe we live in, the more the universe doesn't want us to live anymore. The more we are challenged to break apart that stone structure and humble ourselves to what we don't know. And, in my meditation, it was sort of telling me, it was like, listen, sweetie, you're very good about humbling yourself to the physical things, but you've been taught a certain kind of arrogance that you know something. And we understand that there's a positive reason why you were taught that, so that you can go into the world and not be, manhandled by all the people who are walking around like they know something. So you got to pretend like you know something, but in reality, you don't know much, not much at all. And, and that sort of, I think is really the humbleness that, when somebody like Christ or the Buddha, is talking about humbling ourselves to the universe, it's that level of humbleness, I don't know anything compared to what there is to know. What there is to know is infinite in the face of somebody who knows the most, whoever knows the most on this planet. They don't know shit compared to.
And you know what? That relates to what
I love that.
That relates to what you were saying too about the freedom. It's like there's freedom in that, right?
Yeah.
There's
as she's been speaking,
the ultimate freedom. It's the truth.
Yeah, exactly. And as she's been speaking, I keep thinking of it. I'm like, oh, I want to share this. So as you went away to get your poem, I figured, I said, here's a good moment
I'm sorry, I'm like
share.
rambling on now.
No, you're not rambling on at all. You're perfect, Alissa. Since we had a moment, I figured I would, because I really do think it does apply to this thing. And it was amazing. I hung my head and I put my hands together and I for the first time, I think I humbled myself in the way that we're all meant to, in a,
Yeah.
I can't possibly know, as smart as I may think I am, I need to always sort of live from a place of, I am on a roller coaster in the dark. And not only do I not know where this roller coaster is going, I'm not supposed to know. The more I try to predict where it's going to go, the more I'm going to fuck up the joy that being on this roller coaster is. This is fun. This is a game. And I need to humble myself to not knowing, because it's the not knowing that's what we've chosen, on a higher level as God. We've chosen for ourselves to come into a place that we don't know. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to not know. So sitting there going, I know, we're literally like fighting the game. We're fighting the system. The system is, you don't know. That's what makes it so fun.
Exactly.
And if you just trust and allow for the freedom to enjoy that ride, well, there you go. You're going to enjoy the hell out of it. But if you sit there in resistance going, I know, you're fighting the game. You're playing against the rules that we've made for ourselves. And the rules were designed from a higher level that we know this is the best way to do it. The best way is to not know, and you better get with the program. And the program is, I don't know. It's not even about being humble, really. It's about just agreeing to the parameters that you agreed to before you came down here. Before you came down here, you agreed, I don't know, and on a higher level, I do know, and I will let those rules, govern me. But I'm not here to govern myself. I'm not here to govern my reality. I don't know, and I would like it to be like that,
So great. I love it. I feel like the ultimate really is to allow yourself to be, that's why I love the symbol of the tree of life, the connection between heaven and earth. So to allow yourself to be grounded in the earth, to allow yourself to be a conduit and connect to the heavens or spirit or whatever you want to call it. Allow it to kind of flow back and forth between, those two spaces or many spaces in between. I saw we got a chance to look at your chest chakra system on your chest before. I don't know if you know that.
Oh yeah,
Michael gave us a video.
Yeah, one of the videos we were showing was
what you were. I don't know if you want to show it now again. I'm kidding. But anyway, so but yeah, I love the way you described that. That's kind of awesome, actually. And it reminds me of the quote that we have in the center as you walk in the. Somehow this reminds me of that quote. So we have a quote as you walk into the center: "Courageous is the soul who adventures into time and space to learn of their divinity." So it's being able to really and it takes courage. Courage. I don't mean disrespect, but just a type of courage to really be in that vulnerability and to really.
No, you nailed it, and that's on that freedom thing, and there's freedom in coming to a point of such trust as you can trust the unknown, because even the unknown is you. It's divine to trust what you don't know and know that it's all designed to to bring you somewhere. And to know that it's only going to be balancing you for the future or helping to get you to that place. To know that I will have a richer appreciation for the food tomorrow because of the food I couldn't eat today.
Exactly. Yeah, and so I like to say this because at the time there's some background noise. Is that okay? Can you guys hear me? Okay.
I'm muting him for a second.
Oh, okay.
At
the time, when I was okay. So this is the poem that I hung on my bed, like on the wall of next to my bed, and just kept reading this poem, and with this is what drew me to this. I mean, I'm sorry, I'll read it to you quick. So, the Soulful Life. I don't care how much knowledge you've acquired, nor countries traveled. I want to know if you've given your soul a place to live. Does your spine shiver over a wise poet's words of grace? Do you commune with nature long and with tireless wonder? Have you known despair and dared to step fully into your chamber of darkness, transforming your terror into that of a trusted friend? Can you thrill over a star-streaked sky of night, tenderly wipe away a young child's tears, or marvel over an artful masterpiece? Are you a dreamer by day, a lover of night? Does your own vast potential fill you with awe? Do dreams of a peaceful world arouse you to ascending heights of hope? Does the mystery of the universe excite you beyond measure? And can you feel the presence of a power greater than yourself in all of your affairs? And that was the poem that really resonated. And I just felt somewhere inside of me, I'm like, I want to bring this to the people. This sounds very I don't mean it egoically. It felt very divinely guided. And I'll swear on my everything. This center was built on a dime, a dream and a dime, and the trusting in the universe. I know it sounds so, my family thinks I'm out of my mind. They still to this day. Most of them are like, okay, you and your magical thinking. But the truth is, in every which way, everything has been what you're saying, Jess, like surrendered to, all right, this, what came to me was these beautiful partners. They it just was there. And then people knocked on our doors. We want to be a part of this. Whatever you're doing here, this just feels right. And it started to grow, and it was nothing that I did. I really believe it was a conduit. I just showed up with love and with an open heart.
And that's what you did. You showed up. You were there. That was it.
Yeah. And the belief that, I just go back to this, I guess, this inner knowing of in the world that came from, this medical model world, there was a piece missing. And it was this piece of our soul and our purpose and why we're here. It's like, you can go to a doctor and you can, address his symptom, but are you really addressing the whole thing? Are you really looking at the whole picture? So that's that's kind of what I, so good.
My friend said something to me the other day, and he's not the most spiritual, for somebody that I consider a very spiritual friend, but he said a number of things to me that I found very spiritual and really connected with me. And one of them, I think you should say to your parents, which is, I'm still here.
Right.
And, I said to somebody else, I was trying to encourage them to make a change in their life, because it's very clear that they're very much in a rut. They have all this money. They're in the midst of building this beautiful house for themselves, and they're very, very, very unhappy. And I said, when your soul realizes that it's got nowhere else to go and that it's not going to learn anything else, it dies. It says, all right, on to the next vessel. Maybe I will learn something from that one.
Right.
Because obviously I have settled into a decline here, and I'm not going to learn anything else here in this body.
Right.
Our souls crave, growth, and I'm still here. That to me, in the right frame of mind, is that says everything about I'm growing. I'm still learning, and and as long as I'm learning, I will be here, and I will continue to rise and grow and reclaim myself. Absolutely. And as somebody who was told you were going to disappear so long ago,
Amazing,
I tell you what, it really has been a difficult thing for me. As a child, my greatest sort of frustration was constantly feeling misunderstood, and and really having a difficult time reconciling the idea that I would continue to be misunderstood. And I think I would say, call maybe the first 30 years of my life a battle with the heavens to try to adjust the parameters of the way I lived and the way I behaved until I got to a point where I didn't have to feel misunderstood anymore.
Right.
And that was not what I slowly realized was it wasn't for me to be understood. And then as I opened myself up in the past, decade and change to how much greater the universe was than I was giving it credit for, I began to have another, now existential crisis of I feel misunderstood. My parents, who, in a lot of ways I really felt didn't get me and were constantly sort of misinterpreting my behavior and things that I might do or ways things would play out. And it was really heartbreaking to me. I just found myself getting my heart broken all the time with, friends not understanding that, I would bleed and die for them, and thinking for an instance that I, held any thing over their heads or thought I was better than them. You know, like that's been a struggle for me with really good friends believing on some level that I thought I was better than them. And like, if you're my good friend, it's only because I think you have value and you know, and I value you and I want you close to me and I want to absorb your mind and your heart. And, you know, it would break my heart. I mean, really, my heart's been broken so many times by friends misunderstanding me and how much I love people and how much I cherish my friends. And, you know, to go into this place of unknowing and openness to the possibilities that are out there, you know, it's to constantly kind of put yourself at odds with the way the universe thinks and to put yourself in a position of misunderstanding, you know. And it was a little while ago that I think was meditating and I got this sort of message from Source that there was, you know, that it was impossible to live the way I live on the cutting edge and also be understood all the time. Because it's those who are trying to explore the edges of creation and to reach as far as they can reach into the unknowing that are, you know, coming up against the true unknowing, the things that we are still trying to figure out. And if you're trying to figure it out, how could anybody possibly look at you and go, "Oh, I understand"? You know?
I love that.
You're literally swimming in the ocean of "I don't understand." You're like, you know, like, what else do you expect?
I love it. I literally have tears in my eyes, Jeff. I definitely the one thing I think of when you say all that is it's a quote by Marianne Williamson, miracles, a shift in perception from fear to love. And this is what you're talking about. I know that's sort of like, you know, I joke with myself. I'm like the corny one, but the truth is it really is all about the love. But it is like, what are the two root emotions in all of life is fear and love. Like if you drop through everything, it's fear and love. If you drop through all of our, the bane of our existence of everything is that. And if you believe, you can either believe that that miracles exist, or you take this other path. But I think that's what you're talking about, and it is, you know, there are some that don't.
You hit me to the bone. You made me cry. A shift in our perceptions from fear to love, because I have had those experiences, and that is it. It's you know, the times where I've said it's a miracle. It's a miracle because I've changed who I felt.
It's a miracle, exactly. It's a miracle.
Oh, you made me cry. You broke me, Alissa. The poem got a tear in my eye, and you got me with the miracle quote.
You're a soul. We were meant to be brought together as friends. The soul connection is very deep, and I feel like I have tears from thinking about how long ago we knew each other and how things have shifted. It's like, Jess, we were meant to meet. We're just really meant to meet.
You know, it's incredible too how the same you can be while still being different.
Right.
And, you know, and it's because it's not like I'm so universally different from who I was yesterday.
Right.
But I mean, you know, like belief and, you know, your view of the universe is kind of separate from who you are, you know, and who you are may change in ways because there's a richness that comes about through living and learning, and you know, and I think, you know, your understanding of certain things gets richer, you know, and stronger. Your love gets stronger in different ways. It's that you experience something bad, you know, this food tastes disgusting. Ooh, this food tastes even better than it did yesterday because now I know what yucky food tastes like, you know, and those sort of situations, you know, even like being away from my kids, you know, it's like I love my kids and I always have, and I've always been, you know, kind of super dad. You know, I see my kids and I just light up and I want to play with them. But oh boy, is there a richness and an enrichment to that love and that understanding, you know, of those things. And you know, I've always been a kid in a candy store, you know, on some level living in this world, and really changing my view of what's possible in reality has just made that even stronger. You know, I look around and I just go, wow, there's even more possibilities than I thought there was. I thought I could build skyscrapers. Now I realize I could build them with my mind. You
Right.
know, like, it just keeps
Yeah.
sort of enriching and becoming that much more. The well just gets deeper. I guess you could say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very yeah, if you look at it from this perspective, it's I'll say eternal and abundant. You know, it's eternal and abundant. So you know,
So what happened now as you've gotten, you start working on your health and you take care of things like, unlike a lot of the people that we have on the show, you literally went into the field of trying to help people in these same ways. So when did things click for you and you went, you know what, like I'm going to help other people to realize what I've realized, find their way to better health, and get off of this diagnosis bandwagon that everybody's on, where they walk in with their symptoms, they write down what symptoms you have, and they say, here's the label that we're going to put on that, take 2 of these and call me in the morning.
Yeah, no, I love that question. It's great. I think it was definitely an evolution. I think the more that I made my own connections and I did the research, the more it just made sense. And I was already a therapist, a practicing therapist, so I started to incorporate that into my work. And I just began to, I think there was a time when it just shifted, and that's the only way I can see it. If someone was sitting in front of me, I couldn't see it any other way other than this from a soul perspective. It is why I like to call myself a soul coach, that I feel like I have this, I think it's, again, not, I say humbly, through my experience, and maybe it is part of who I am on this planet. I can sort of slice through and see to the soul of a person's struggle. So I think it sort of was naturally evolved.
Real tears.
Tears. Ah, you're so sweet. I want to give you a hug, Jess. I miss you guys. So yeah, this is kind of what happened. And then I met these 2 amazing partners. My partners now are just the best. And they both have the same approach to life and to the work that we're doing. And so it's just a great balance. I mean, a great, collaboration. Yeah, and I feel like it's just, funny. It's become the wave. You're hearing more and more about it. It's very hopeful. I've been doing this work for many years, and I begin to see, like, here and there, you can see at times you'll see Reiki being brought into a medical facility, a hospital, an oncology unit. So that's very exciting to start to see what's been percolating for many years. So I have hope about the world shifting in this way. Yeah, so it started, been from years ago for me. It's been a process.
And now, what do we have, Michael? Oh, okay, you got her website up there right now.
Michael.
Okay, cool. Is there any other places where we can send people? Like, I don't know if you have like an Instagram that you like to post things on, or for the center, or anything that we could get people. If you're on Long Island, it's right in, I guess it's on the border of Smithtown, or is it Smithtown?
Smithtown.
Yeah, our center's right in Smithtown. That's where we filmed. If you saw me singing and Michael filming, that's where we shot that at the center. And I know it's a lot more than just you and your partners. How many different sort of modalities of healing and help do you have going on there? Because like last I spoke to you, you were bringing in even more things, to the center. So what is it that you're offering this time at this time?
Okay, thanks for asking. I saw that Rob said hello. Thank you, Rob. I love you too.
Good job, Rob. We love Rob.
So we have this holistic psychotherapist. We have reconnective healers that really do energy work. And Rob, I'll tell you, one day I recommend you having Rob on. He's really very dynamic, and he really can give you he give you a run for your money around the universe and universal law and energy.
He's got some great stuff. Yeah, I remember
right?
what he's into, and it's amazing.
Hypnotherapy with Steve Durante, meditation. Steve, who played sax in the music video. We do meditations. We teach many different types of modality of meditation. We do private yoga sessions. We do acupuncture massage, soul coaching, soul contract reading, and lots of workshops. And we have a recovery program. I think it's good to mention. We have a holistic recovery program from anyone who is really looking to find their way through some sort of struggle with addiction and, I'll say drugs, alcohol, shopping, gambling, sex, the works,
A lot of
technology.
addictions out there. Yeah.
We just approach addiction from this way of, we all look to distract ourselves from being connected to the eternal, to ourselves within. So our program offers grants to people who can't necessarily afford to have access to these holistic services. So the grants are available to people online if they wanted to take a peek at that. There's an application online for that. And, good stuff to come. I started a podcast ourselves with Anna Miranda and our friend Ria called Spiritually Psyched. And it's bridging worlds of mental health and spirituality. So that's kind of cool and exciting new venture this year.
Amazing.
Thank you so much. 2020 has been a year of creativity. It's been very exciting.
And now if somebody comes in there, can they set up like sort of a general meeting to get advice on, where you think they could be helped and whatnot?
Yes, absolutely. They can call me or Rosemary or Rob, any three of us.
That's so cool. I think it's kind of the hardest thing for people, and obviously you realize this sometimes, to know where to begin, or they go, I've been being helped by terrestrial medicine, traditional, kind of doctors, and I'm not making the progress that I want to make, but I don't know what to do. I go and I research spiritual medicine, and, Reiki comes up, and acupuncture comes up, and meditation comes up, and all these different things at once. And I don't know what the right answer for me really is. Right.
I'll tell you one thing I'll say. In my experience, this is from my perspective, I really believe it starts with some counseling. It doesn't have to be intensive, doesn't have to be for long, but some one-on-one type of psychotherapy, some type of dialogue around, just the things that, like I've said before, about that keep us blocked from living in our truth. But that's, I'm a psychotherapist, so I'm going to say that. I got to say that part. But I do believe in all of the modalities. I think that they work, I believe, really well together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a question for you because we're getting towards the end of our show this evening. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming. But I really do have a question for you here, and I would love to know what your thoughts on it are, because I've struggled with that, psychotherapy. Like I've done therapy before. I've done couple therapy. I've done therapy myself. But in general, I always have sort of come away feeling that, or two things. One, that I wish I could speak these things to the people that I care about, and not necessarily to this new person who I've brought in to, have a conversation with me, basically because I can't have a conversation with the people I really want to talk to.
Right.
And secondarily, I've often thought, am I not sort of solidifying a creation of a false reality by speaking it into existence? In the beginning, there was the Word. The Word creates all things. And, what do you say, granted, without being trying to take over your answer, but, I know there's a certain amount of balance to these things.
Yeah,
and that you have to be able to speak some level, you have to be able to admit the experience that you're having, the pain that you're having, or whatever. But what would you say to that, and the balance in that, sort of idea of speaking about the things and creating a reality that's false, versus,
I love that question, sweetie. I really do. Thank you for asking that question, because, I just think, from my perspective, there's a little bit of, I say danger if we're bypassing our human experience, and we're going right to the spiritual stuff, or right to this other place. So I do think it's about the balance, for sure. And I'll tell you something, and this is one place, and I say it humbly but strongly, after all these years, I feel like I can confidently say, you need the right therapist. You need a therapist who really has a hat on and an understanding of the soul work. And that type of therapist, can help bring a person, maybe fast forward some of the stuff that you're talking about, or help to diffuse some of your doubts about it. I don't know. Does that make sense? The answer is that.
Yeah. Well, I guess my follow-up question to that would be, let's say there's somebody in the audience, and they are going, well, how do I find the right therapist? I don't live on Long Island. and I don't have access to the Soulful Living Center, what would you recommend to them?
That's a damn good question, Jess. And I'll tell you, this is really the struggle because, well, I shouldn't say that they're not out there. So I would Google search, soulful therapists. I would Google search therapists that have a body, mind, spirit would be the other way, or holistic. There are more popping up there. For many years, that wasn't even used. That language was not used with the psychotherapy, degree, so to speak. So just.
And what is the language, if you don't mind, just keep crystallized, for those watching at home, of a psychotherapist versus a therapist? Like I've heard a lot of different terms to describe what I've always kind of assumed was kind of the same thing, but I know there's differences. What are the differences to you?
I think it's just that the way that we're taught. I mean, so I call myself a clinical psychotherapist. I've done, I call myself a holistic clinical psychotherapist. That's very wordy. So it's just holistic therapist. You know what? It's really just, I think, that what they're taught, the modalities that they're taught, that the type of theories that they use in their practice.
Are
really,
there good things to sort of like put into your Google search when you're looking for somebody who was taught by certain doctors or whatever else?
Yeah, to put in a Google search would be, a therapist. I would just goes back to this basic thing of body, mind, spirit. Like if a therapist with a licensed degree has some body, mind, spirit background, that's a really good place to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Michael, do you have anything else for Alissa before we let her go? So you've been such a lovely guest. We so appreciate it.
So good to have her here. Yeah. No, I do. I would love to hear what she has to say to Angela, who says, I made 2 therapists quit on me.
Quit on me? Oh, no, Angela, what happened?
And
that could be a whole session. We could have like a call-in, like a therapy. We can have a call-in type of thing.
Oh, we could do
What's
that.
What's the matter, Angela? What happened?
reach out to Alissa, Angela.
Yeah, you can reach out to me. I'm happy to work it through with you. Help you work.
No,
it through.
Do you do sessions on through the through FaceTime or something?
Definitely. I have since the pandemic, for sure.
I highly recommend Alissa. She's been well practiced thanks to the pandemic, so that's a good way to go about doing it. SoulfulLivingCenter.com, and you can connect with Alissa. Sorry, Michael, what were you gonna say?
Thank you, Jess.
No, I was just this was great listening. I mean, I was mostly listening today, and it was just great listening to Alissa talk about her story. I did not know a lot of that story. I mean, I know Alissa for her vibration and the frequency she's on, and how that feels. So it was good to hear her story, and I'm just.
Isn't it nice when this show allows us to understand our friends and family better than we did yesterday?
Absolutely.
I had my siblings on, and I got to find out shit I hadn't found out.
I love it. Oh my God, I love it. This was such a pleasure. Thanks, you guys. I'd love to see you again sometime. Maybe you can come on our podcast next.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Yeah. Love you guys so much, really, truly, bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I hope you stay well, and I hope to get to see you in person soon.
Yes, thank you guys so much. You know what? We will try to figure that out as soon as we can, Alissa. I promise.
Totally.
Maybe all 3 of us can get together.
Hang out backstage for a second, and we'll just wrap up the show. But hang out.
Okay.
Yeah, hang out for a second.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Are we taking off next week for Christmas, or what's the deal?
Way after my bedtime. I'm so tired right now.
I know you must be so tired. I'm so. In the name of Christmas, all is good.
You know what? Christmas is not till what, Saturday. We don't have to.
Okay, I'm available. I should be available.
Yeah, if you're available, I'm available. I love bringing.
My flight's on the 23rd. Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, we will see everybody next week then.
Well, the 23rd
next Thursday, and
when is your flight? In the morning?
The 23rd is a Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Oh wait. See, that's why. See, I'm going to be traveling on the 23rd.
Okay.
So I think maybe we have to go the week after.
Okay.
So see, I knew intuitively. I was like, so we're going to take off next week for Christmas, but we will be back the next time because I'm going to be traveling that day all day long and trying to get over to my babies for Christmas activities and whatnot. So I really appreciate you guys giving me the week off.
We'll probably run something because we every week for Rams Network, we'll run something. So maybe not on your YouTube channel or on Facebook, but we'll run something on the Rams Network.
All right. Well, we will run some things next week, and you can tune in and you can check it out. But thank you guys all for being patient. Those of you who got to tune in for a long show this evening, and I'm really glad that everybody got to see that performance. I cringe most of the time when I watch myself perform, but hearing those stories and things, I really appreciated that I had a venue to speak about some of those things. So thank you so much to Alissa for coming. Thank you to Michael for holding down the fort. And we'll see you next time on the live stream of consciousness.
Peace out.